Unless you've grown up in Japan, you may be unaware how massive the Megami Tensei series is. Since 1987, there's been 18 releases and re-releases of the main series, and even more spin-offs including Persona, Devil Survivor, and Digital Devil Saga. The latest in this massive series is Shin Megami Tensei V, released as a Switch exclusive in late 2021. If you're new to the series, then SMTV is a great place to start, as there is no requirements to have played the previous games, plus it is bloody addictive. With that said, some of the mechanics can be brutal, and there are some game design decisions that may put some casual RPG players off, so definitely do some research before you buy. Or you can just watch this review to get an idea if this game is for you. Before we begin, help this channel level up by hitting that like button, and also feel free to sub for more RPG videos. Alright, let's get into it. I'll say this up front, SMTV is not about the story. This game is all about the combat and the RPG mechanics, so if you're after a JRPG with deep characters, complex story arcs, and frequent narrative-driven scenes, you've come to the wrong place. SMTV begins in Tokyo. The main characters are high school students who are drawn into investigating rumors about the appearance of demons in a nearby tunnel. While investigating, an earthquake hits the city and the main character finds himself in the Netherworld, which is a post-apocalyptic version of Tokyo where demons and angels are at war. While here, the main character fuses with a powerful being known as a Nahabino. What kind of name is that? The name of a badass half-demon, that's what. The core story revolves around the war between the demons and the angels and saving Tokyo from an uncertain future. Now, I will admit that this story has some good ideas, and there were quite a few moments that genuinely interested me, but they were few and far between. These story-driven scenes are way more loaded towards the end of the game, and it's not uncommon to play for 6 to 8 hours without any story whatsoever. I'm also not a fan of the whole silent protagonist thing, and I never have been. I just don't give two shits about someone who doesn't speak a line of dialogue, and it's so hard to be invested when I'm playing as someone who I don't care about. Unless, of course, if the surrounding characters are incredible, which in this case, they are not at all. The main character is, however, given some dialogue options during the game's story scenes, but these have no impact on which of the 4 endings you receive. Your ending is a simple dialogue choice chosen at the end of the game, with the exception of the 4th ending, which involves a lot of other convoluted crap that I was never even close to bothering about. If you ask me, and you did ask me since you're watching this review, the story was one of the weakest parts of SMTV. It does enough to complement the true strengths of the game, but was never something that I really cared about. So, what are the strengths of Shin Megami Tensei V? The combat is absolutely one of them. This turn-based system is brutal, and unless you know what you're doing every single step of the way, you could end up with a game over screen in an instant. The Nahabino will fight alongside 3 demon party members that can be switched out for resting demons on the bench during or outside of battle. Each party member will have 1 turn per round, but these turns will double if you land a critical hit or exploit enemy weaknesses. So basically, if you cast fire spells against an enemy that is weak against fire, you'll get 8 turns instead of 4. However, if one of your attacks miss or you hit an enemy's strength, you lose a turn. I have never played an RPG in my life where missing an opponent is so damn devastating. However, these mechanics work for the enemy too. What this means is that half of the challenge in battle is bringing along a party that will be most effective against the enemies you're up against. This is so crucial. These mechanics work very well and create some great battles, but at the same time, they can be absolutely brutal, especially if the enemy gets the first strike, and this happens way too often. If you engage an enemy on the field that has seen you, there is a good chance that the enemy will get the first strike, even if you attacked them on the field. I hated this so much. It would have made much more sense for the enemy to ambush you only if you haven't struck them with your sword. To make matters worse, if the Nahabino is knocked out, it's game over. This could be a one-hit KO if the enemy hits with a critical, and I'm not going to lie, this can feel very cheap and very frustrating. Another key factor to consider is the Magasui gauge, which will increase over time in battle. Each demon comes with their own specific Magasui skill that can be used after unlocking it through various means. These abilities don't take up a turn and provide a range of functions in battle to support your party or to deal damage. However, it's the original Magasui skill that you receive at the start of the game that I use 90 99% of the time. Omagatoki Critical ensures that all attacks that round are critical hits. This basically means that you will do 8 attacks in a row that deal a crap load of damage each. This is so powerful and perfect for just about every situation. I really wish there was more balance here, like the less powerful skills taking up less of the gauge. You know, anything to make me experiment a little bit more. As the majority of SMT5 takes place in the demon world, you would expect it to be full of, demons. Now, demon negotiating and fusing are two of the biggest elements of the game, so let's start off with the former. At any time during battle, you can select to talk to the enemy demon. From here, they'll ask you a number of questions with the outcome depending on your response. The primary purpose of talking is to recruit the demon into your team by choosing the correct responses and then handing over items and money. Unfortunately, I felt that the mechanics behind this system were frustrating and in desperate need of an overhaul. For starters, everything just seems so random. You'll be asked seemingly random questions with absolutely no idea how to answer them. It's purely luck. Let's take a look at this Valkyrie. When talking to her, she says, "Please, look at me some more." And these were my options. I had no idea what to choose, so just like every single other conversation I had with demons all game, I just chose randomly. In this case, I was lucky enough to proceed to the next stage of the conversation without her attacking me, and eventually recruited her after sacrificing loads of my NP and some items. I really wanted some more innovation here. The other major way to get new demon party members is through fusing your existing demons together. This system is absolutely sensational. The insane amount of different demons and the tools that you're given to customize them to your liking is one of the strongest parts of the game. To put it simply, to create a new, more powerful demon, you have to select 2 of your current demons, and then for some reason, after playing an organ, they'll be fused together. And sometimes this can be a really hard decision if you're particularly attached to a demon. It's like choosing which one of your pets to get rid of. When you fuse a new demon, you will then need to select which of their skills you want to keep that best align with their strengths, weaknesses, and other needs. You can also use demon essences to teach them specific skills or to adjust your Nahabino's elemental strengths and weaknesses. There is just so much to think about and so many options. I must have spent hours in these fusion menus customizing my party of demons, and I have absolutely zero regrets, as the satisfaction that fusing creates is so worth it. Shin Megami Tensei V is not the prettiest game you've seen in your life, and it looks like a game from older generations. I was fine with the art style, but the visual quality was quite poor, with textures taking a while to load and the environments looking very samey. There are quite a few different environments to explore, but visually they all look so similar. There wasn't one point in the game that I said, "Wow, this is stunning." The frame rate also drops massively when you see enemies in the distance. I'm talking 2 frames per second. This looks like a modern day Game & Watch. At least the music is a different story. To be honest, I spent the first half of the game wondering what all of the hype was about, as I kept hearing how incredible the soundtrack was. It took up until the halfway point for some of these tracks to really stand out. This was when the environment themes became memorable and the battle themes took a turn and became absolutely badass. While these bland environments may not be that great to look at, exploring them is a different story. The exploration in SMT5 is sensational, and this is an area where most modern JRPGs seem to fall short. There is a lot to look for, from the hundreds of hidden Mii-Man to the side quests to the super powerful demons, and it's not just all about ticking off checkpoints on the mini-map. There is a perfect mix of revealed explorables on this map and hidden explorables that you'll need to actively look for. Starting out in a new area was great. My priority was to first find these giant red abscesses to reveal more of the map, and then try to hunt down the ley lines, which provide save points, fast travel, shops, and fusion capabilities. Within these large open dungeons, you'll also encounter loads of demons that provide side quests, and, well, these demons have their own problems. One demon, for instance, has a love interest who won't love him back because he isn't financially secure. So what do? You give him 5,000 Maka to gamble at the races so he can win her heart. Yep, real life problems. After nearly 5 years since the first announcement, Shin Megami Tensei V finally arrived, and it did not disappoint. I know many of you consider this as your favourite JRPG of 2021, and it's easy to see why. SMTV is incredibly addictive. The monster fusing and the skill customization is highly involved and so rewarding, and this is made even more worthwhile due to the excellent turn-based combat, which can be very difficult at times. The exploration also gets the thumbs up. There is so much to discover, far beyond simple markers on the minimap. But while SMT5 strives in these areas, there are still some other areas for improvement, such as the weak story that seems non-existent at times, the randomness in the monster negotiation system, and the dated visual and frequent performance issues. Long story short, if you're after a casual JRPG where you can sit back and enjoy the grand tale, then SMT5 may not be for you. But if you're after challenging turn-based combat with outstanding RPG mechanics, then look no further. What did you think of SMT5? Was it your game of the year? Let me know in the comments below. This was Hellfire RPGs, thanks for watching. It would help me out a lot if you smashed that like button, as it helps out with that demonic YouTube algorithm. Also, feel free to sub if you want more reviews like this one. See you next time.